So today we will be discussing noise of electrical machines. That's electrical motor noise, how it is important in vehicle. We think the electric vehicles are less noisy generally compared to the IC engine or DC engine. But to give you an idea, generally noise of 10 kilowatt, that's a very less powered motor. With a four-pole induction motor is 75 dBA. So 75 dBA is very high. That is at 1 meter. So you can imagine at 1 meter, if it is at 75 dBA for an electric motor, you can imagine how it will be in a vehicle when you're sitting and driving an electric vehicles. Today we will be discussing the sources of those electric motor noise, how the electric vehicle standards are currently, and how we have to reduce the electric motor noise, and how what is the cost of an electric motor and how it affects the noise. Before I go into more about electric motor noise, I just wanted to glance here about how human reacts to noise. So as you all know, sound is a propagating energy. The sound waves, while propagating, it can reflect, it can refract, diffract, scatter, absorb, and disperse. So as all the light waves are sound waves, because of all this phenomena, the sound travels in an air medium, reaches to a point, and you can hear it is as a decibels. You can see a curve here on the left, which is called an isophonic curve. This shows how human can hear. Yeah, so the curve, it is called as isophonic curve. Isophonic curve, the name it says is iso is same, phonic is unit of loudness. So isophonic curve, these are the isophonic curve. The each curve represent each phone. So the 10 phone, 20, 30, 40, 50, like that until 130 phones. The region below this curve is called a threshold of hearing. The region above this curve is called a threshold of pain. So the human can only hear x-axis frequency, the y-axis sound level in dBs. The human can only hear in the region where those curves are there. When you are doing any vehicle refinement or any electric motor noise, so we have to concentrate only on this frequency because the human can only hear in that frequency. NVH, basically, as you all know, NVH is noise, vibration, and harshness. Noise is audible, the vibration is tactile, harshness is tactile and audible. So I can give an example of an harshness is like when you drop a steel plate, so you hear kind of vibration noise which is very irritating. That is basically the harshness. Getting on to electrical machines, vibration and noise. Basically, electric machine consisting of a stator and a rotor. So when the stator rotates, because of the magnetic field, the rotor rotates, and the rotor is connected to a gear, and the gear is connected to a wheels. That's how the total mechanism of electric vehicle works. So basically, noise source in electric machine comes from higher space and time harmonics of the stator, slots in a stator openings, magnetic saturation, eccentricity, phase imbalance of rotor, a magnetic motive force, and a magnetic restrictive force. That is when you take care of the electrical sides. That's the electrical noise. When you take off mechanical noise, that come from a bearings. The aerodynamic noise comes from the cooling vents because of the higher thermal effects in electric motor. We need to cool a motor, so we need to generate a liquid cooled or a air cooled. So that's where, because of the air or the liquid coming from the to cool the electric motor, you get aerodynamic noise. And the other noises which are as a connections to that is when it is connected to a gear drive, you get a gear noise. If there is a shaft alignment, when you're connecting motor to a gear, you get a shaft misalignment noise and a coupling noise. All these noises are at the source level. If you mount properly with a good damping, then it does not amplify. If you don't mount properly, then it might amplify and create more noise. So noise can be amplified through a mounting also. We discussed about the first source of noise. Electrical noise is coming from electromagnetic noise. So I'll go more detail into the electromagnetic noise. What happens in the electromagnetic noise is a stator and a rotor both have an electromagnetic fields. So if you consider the flux density of a stator as a b cos omega t plus k alpha plus t1, if the rotors is a b2 cos omega 2t plus k alpha plus t2. So when these two magnetic flux density come together, they multiply and they become higher magnetic flux density and angular velocity are also multiplied. So the product of these two will create a magnetic field which is actually creating a noise. So this magnetic field, when it is created, it travels radially to the stator and rotor, because when it is traveling to radially, it tries to make a deformation of the stator. That's where the electric noise and vibration is generated. Apart from this deformation, other source of noise, as I was discussing before, is slot openings. And if there is any discharge in the input current waveform, the input current comes with this is a three-phase electric motor. So there are three phases from where the electric input current waveform comes from a battery. So if there is any distortion in the input current waveform, then it can cause more noise. And also air gap permeance fluctuations within the field, the phases between the two current waveforms are incorrect, then you can have more noise. Rotor eccentricity, as we all know, if any rotating component is not aligned at center and it has some eccentricity, then you can have more vibrations and noise. So these are the main electric noises which are, because of the deformation of the stator, it creates a noise. So this kind of when you perform a mode analysis of a stator, you see this kind of a mode is called a breathing mode. It's like going out and coming in. This kind of a breathing mode generally occurs around 6000 hertz or 7000 hertz, which will make higher vibrations and noise. We discussed about how the noise is generated, and now we'll discuss about how it is transmitted. So what happens, as we discussed, the magnetic motive force, magnetostrictive forces, those forces travel radially. So about 50% of magnetic strictive forces and all the magnetic motive forces, these travel radially and they create a higher harmonic force and torque in the motor. Then the stator frame that radiates the stator, there is a frame outside the stator that frame is radiated. If it has a natural frequency coinciding with the frequency of the radial force, then the noise is amplified. And you also have an end bells which are generally used to close these are called the end bells. So these are used to close back and front of the electric motor. If these end belts also come into resonance because of these radial forces, then also you can have a noise, and that is called a structure borne noise. The airborne noise can come from voltage ripple. If it is an inverter fed motor, so they are fed from an inverter, there will be a voltage ripple in the rectifier, and there will be a torque ripple in the whole system. So because these are the two factors which will make airborne noise in the motors. And bearing noises, the most of the electric motors use sleeve and roller bearings. Generally the sleeve bearing is better than roller bearing for noise, but it has own its disadvantages and advantages based on its construction. And rotor imbalance, we need to balance the rotor perfectly so that it has a good eccentricity with respect to any shaft which is connected. Then we can reduce the noise. Generally the fan noise to coolant noise is from 100 to 10,000 hertz. There is fan noise can be divided into a siren noise and the other aerodynamic noise. The siren noise, which is generally there in any cooling fans, is can be reduced by increasing the distance between the impeller and stationary obstacle. What we discussed till now is there are three sources of electric machine noises. One is a mechanical noise, other one is electromagnetic noise, third one is a aerodynamic noise. The mechanical noise is coming from resonance of end bells or resonance of stator frame, bearings, shaft misalignment. Electromagnetic sources are coming due to the magnetic field in the stator and rotor, which can be variant by slot harmonics, magnetic saturation, the input current waveform distortion. So those are all the different factors which make electromagnetic noise. These three electrical machine noise are transferred through a total frame, and it can be a structure borne or airborne. So most of the airborne noise is coming from a fan, and all the structure borne is coming from a electric motor. This is the simple model how the electric motor noise is generated. This is an example when we measure electric motor noise at 1 meter. This is how it looks. So left side is a frequency, and the right side with respect to time from 0 to 10 seconds, or you can say with respect, if you increase the speed, it can be from 0 to 10,000 rpm. These on the vertical lines, this is kind of a scattering noise. You can see at 10,000 hertz and 20,000 hertz. These are generally comes from an inverter switching frequency. So in every inverter has an IGBTs that switches at a particular frequency to run the electric motor and run it as both motor and generator. So for this inverter, the switching frequency is 10,000 hertz. So the harmonic of that is 20,000 hertz. So you can see vertical scattering noises at 10,000 hertz and 20,000 hertz. And all these other orders, so these are called orders. So 96, 72, 48, 24, these orders are coming from a motor pole and slot interactions, because if it is a 24 slot machine, the 24 and the harmonics of that 24, 48, 72, 96, so these are the different orders the motor noise can come from. So the noise, the frequencies below this orders, these are coming due to the armature and pole slot interactions. So these are the three different noise sources. This is how the general example of how the noise is seen. So you can see the red is 84 dB. So all the yellow at low frequency region is around 70 dB. So the white region is around 51 dB, all these noises. So that transfers through any medium and you can hear it in electric vehicle. So we discussed about electric motor noise, an example of electric motor noise. Next, I'll just quickly glance international standards for electric motors. So there are two standards, like both are closely related. One is NEMA and IEC 60034-9 to have sound pressure and sound power limits at 1 meter. Any electric motor is rated with rated power and rated speed and a cooling type. The cooling type is ODP, TEFC, and WP11. So the cooling type can be open drip proof machine, ODP. TFC is totally enclosed fan cooled machine. That is like a motor is totally enclosed on a with a steel with having a fan is cooling the machine at producing higher air into the electric motor. WP11 is a high wind that is generally used at high thermal conditions for high power electric motors. So if electric motor is divided into with respect to a rated power, rated speed, and a cooling type. It's a big page for standards, but I just wanted to glance at what is the range of noise generally. So if you take a 1500 kilowatt machine, that's a very high powered machine at 1 meter, the sound power level with these standards has to be lesser than 103 dBA, that is at 960 rpm, up to 120 dBA at 3600 rpm. That is with respect to sound power level. The sound pressure level, with another example of 400 kilowatt machine at 1 meter, will be around 86 dBA at lower RPM, around 960 to 102 dBA. So these are the limits for electric motor noise. It has to be within these sound power and sound pressure limits to be qualified or approved for selection. We discussed about sources. We discussed about standards. Now, how do we predict electric motor noise? There are two methods of predicting the electric motor noise. One is deterministic method, other is a statistical method. So the deterministic method needs the following, like we need a input data and we create an electromagnetic force model, because the noise is generated from electromagnetic forces. Those forces which we generated in a CAE tool, you can use ANSYS or CAD/FEM. Those are transferred to a structural model. Structural model here consisting of a stator frame, end belts, everything which are mounting, everything connected to a motor. And these velocities through the structural model are transferred to an acoustical model. The acoustical model will consisting of an air outside the air until the 1 meter. So these vibration velocities pass through air. Then we can predict the sound power level. So that's a one way of doing predicting the noise. That's called a deterministic method. And the other method is a statistical method. So most of the people talk about SEA, statistical energy analysis. This is about statistical method. Here we need an energy for each component. So we have an input data and you have an electromagnetic force model. These forces go to a mobility model. From the mobility model, we have a statistical energy model. So what happens is every part of an electric motor is divided into small subcomponents like stator, rotor, all the air gap permeance. For every part of the electric motor, there's energy that's called a statistical energy. So all the energy is accumulated and converted into vibration power. Then we calculate a radiation efficiency. So from that radiation efficiency, we calculate the sound power level. So these are the two different methods. We use it in most of the electric motor noise predictions. We can use any software following this method. Most used softwares are ANSYS R5, CAD-FEM, MOSIS, new software to measure, predict the electric motor noise. But basic idea of using software is this. So if you're doing determination method, you have to follow this model. If you're doing a statistical method, you have to follow the one on the right. How the economic access depends on the electric motor noise. So as we all know, everything is related to a cost. So if you wanted to have a good magnetic flux density, which will increase the power and efficiency for electric motor, of course the cost increases and also proportionally the noise is increased. And noise is increased with proportional to the speed. If you wanted to have a motor which is running at higher speed, for example, if it has to be used in a sports car, then the noise is of course increased. If it is proportional to the torque output, it is proportional to the rated power. The cost of one mu is how they measure the total electric motor. Generally, the cost of one motor unit is a 4.5 kg of copper. So that's a unit that they use in electric motors. So if you wanted to make a electric motor with a higher power and higher speed and higher torque, of course the noise increases proportionally. So you need to take care of the noise based on all the different countermeasures we discussed. You can actually reduce it by reducing the selection of a good bearings. Also you can reduce it by having a inverter which have a less torque fluctuations. You can actually have your natural frequency of a stator frame or end bell separated from the magnetic field density radial forces frequency. So these are the different noise countermeasures that we can use to reduce the electric motor noise. So that is all I have with respect to how the electric motor noise. Now the challenges is predicting the electric motor noise is accurate prediction of magnetic field, because when you are doing a magnetic field, it has all the laminations. We don't know what is the properties of laminations correctly, the damping properties, the stiffness and mass. We don't have it as a data library. So predicting the natural frequencies and breathing motors of stator is a challenge for us. And as I said, generating a damping matrix calculation, because these laminations are anisotropic windings, they are coming together as a like there are hundreds of windings coming together inside a stator. If you imagine it as like a material with a mass, which is not correct because it's kind of wires clubbed together. So the damping matrix calculation for those kind of anisotropic materials is a challenge. And also it undergoes at higher temperature, so the stiffness and damping properties of any material changes with temperature. So whatever we model it is considering that the electric motor is at cool. So when it goes into the actual operation, the noise we predicted can be different from what it is actually producing because of all these different errors. And we can have errors calculating electric magnetic forces. That is due to the model inaccuracy. As I told you, the SCA, the statistical method, is better than the deterministic method. That's a BEM approach. And apart from all this, any CAE calculation, the prediction of electric motor noise is always assumed with some equation, so it is always lower than the measured value. So we need to make sure that whatever we predict in the CAE is not close to what we produce. So we need to have a good correlation with the testing and CAE, so that the electric motor noise what we hear is what we calculated.